Low prep activities. Keeping a group of students busy for a short time can be daunting. So here are 10 low prep activities to use with classes or small groups of people. Hi, my name is Eric and I've been a teacher for 16 years. Often we are asked to unexpectedly supervise classes without having the time to prepare. So I wrote this book with 100 no prep classroom activities to help teachers. I put it in the description below. 3-phase charades. Each student has to write a different word on 5 slips of paper. It can be any word, noun, name, thing, but it has to be something that everybody is supposed to know. Fold the slips in half and add them all into a bowl or hat. They will reuse the slips for 3 phases. So, tell them not to tear or destroy the slips when they take them out. Then, divide the students into small teams. They will play charades in 3 phases. Phase 1. One member from each group gets 1 minute to explain the slips of paper in the bowl. After 1 minute, it's the next group's turn. Continue until all the slips are taken out and change explaining students with each turn. Then, each team counts up how many words they got correct. It doesn't matter if it's a word someone wrote down. It's the luck of the draw. Return all the slips back into the bowl or hat. Phase 2. One member from a group has to explain as many slips as possible in 1 minute. But this time they may only use a single word. If they accidentally use more than one word, they fail and it's the next team's turn. If their group doesn't guess correctly, they may not pass and take a new slip. Tough luck. Phase 3. One member from each group has to explain the slips from the bowl, but only use actions, no words. Each team gets 1 minute and they continue until all the slips are taken. At the end of the activity, tally up the scores from all 3 phases to find the winning team. Vocabulary Cowboy Duel. Select 2 students to come to the front of class. Hand each one a flashcard or paper with vocabulary on it. They should place it against their chests without looking at it. Then the 2 students stand back to back with their flashcards held against their chests. The words also facing forward. The teacher counts down. 3, 2, 1, and turn. Both students then spin around and show their flashcards to their opponent. The first one to read the other's flashcard wins the duel. Make it fun by telling the students to dramatically die if they lose. You can split the class into teams. Each winner gets a point for their team. The team with the most points wins. Draw a card. Playing card games can be used in many ways, but in this case, students talk about daily activities to learn everyday actions. First, take a normal deck of playing cards. Next, write 13 daily actions or household chores on the whiteboard. 13 for each card in a suit, from number 2 to ace. You can write things like brush your teeth, get dressed, do the washing, hang up laundry, sweep the floor, wash the dishes, make the bed, take out trash, take a shower, cook dinner, eat dinner, walk the dog. To end, designate each corner of the classroom a different suit. That corner is hearts, and that's the kitchen. That's diamonds, and that's outside. Spade is the bedroom, and club the bathroom. Spread the cards on a table in the middle of class. Students have to pick up a card and then go and act out the activity in the correct corner. Ask students to tell you what they are doing. The ace of clubs. I'm walking the dog in the bathroom. Wow, that's very strange. Make a list. Students have to think of 8 essential items that are needed for some situations or items. You can write it on the board, take some suggestions from your students. For example, a suitcase for a 3-day trip, a fridge, a picnic, a survival kit, going on a date, a beach, doing a presentation, a school bag, going hiking, things for a baby. Then in small groups, they've got to think of 8 essential things needed for that item or activity. For example, if the item is a handbag, what are 8 things a woman needs in her handbag? Her wallet, driver's license, lipstick, hand cream, candy, money, and wet tissues. Or if it's a situation like going for a job interview, do research on the company, dress formally, take a resume, take a notepad, arrive early, be polite, answer questions confidently. Once the groups are done, let each group give feedback and compare. Draw a monster. Pick 2 students. They go to the whiteboard to draw a monster according to what the rest of the class tells them. Guide the class by asking questions about the monsters. How many eyes does it have? How many arms? How many legs? Is it hairy? Does it have spots? Is it tall? Is it short? Big? Small? Let them select the color and draw the monster according to the class's suggestions, making it a collaborative monster. Then place the students into smaller groups which picks one of the monsters. They need to give it a name and create more information about it. What does it eat? Where does it live? What is it scared of? They should make a fun backstory for the monster. Warn them not to get too graphic, however, since it's a friendly monster. Group storytelling. Split the class into groups of 4 students. Write a sentence on the board. For example, there was an old lady living in a house in the forest with her granddaughter. Each student then describes a different part of the story. The first student describes the old lady. Who is she? What does she look like? What does she do? Student B describes the house. What does the house look like? How many rooms? Is it big or small? Student C describes the forest. Is it a big forest? Is it dark? Are there flowers or animals? Student D describes the granddaughter. What is her name? What does she look like? What is her personality like? What does she do at the house? Then continue with the story. One day, a young man knocks at the door. They have to finish the story, each student adding 1 sentence until it's complete. When it's finished, place all the students into new groups where they have to retell the story they have created with their old group. Hot seat. In this activity, teams must explain words to their friends, taking turns to sit in the hot seat facing them. This team exercise is very popular with younger learners, but can get rowdy if not controlled. Remind them that points will be deducted if they shout too loudly. Place students into teams and put a chair for each team in the front of class, facing the students. These chairs are the hot seats. The teacher then writes vocabulary words on the board which teams have to explain to those in the hot seats, who have to guess what the word is. You can either use the same word for each team or give them different words. The first one to guess the correct answer gets a point. Rotate team members so that everyone gets a chance. I like giving the students 1 word per team member. Then it's a race to see which team can finish first. Dinner party. Who sits where? This activity comes from Kev the Rev, a teacher who often shares ideas on our live stream every Sunday at 1 p.m. GMT. For this activity, place the students into groups of 3 or 4. Hand each group a blank A4 paper. On your whiteboard, write the names of any celebrities or well-known characters. These could include the Pope, Justin Bieber, a sumo wrestler, Hello Kitty, Harry Potter, Tarzan, a dinosaur, you, 007, or whoever is a hot topic that week. You can also ask your students to call out different celebrities they would like to use. Once you've written down all these names, tell the students that the celebrities and characters are going to have a dinner party, and it's up to them to decide who will sit where. They have to arrange the celebrities around the table, giving reasons why they place certain guests next to each other. You can also draw a circle or table on the board with numbers all around, so students can easily write where the characters will be seated. They should be mindful of what the guests will be able to talk about, why some will enjoy each other's company, and why others should sit far away from one another. Once all the teams are done, they will have to explain why they have decided on their particular seating arrangement if things were different. This activity gets the students to think out of the box to create an alternate history for a famous person. Place the students into groups. Then they have to think of a celebrity they know and write a list of what that celebrity has achieved in their life. It could be a sports star, a singer, a politician, anyone that's really famous. Walk around and make sure that each group thinks of a different person. Once all the groups are done, let them report back to class about their celebrity and his or her accomplishments. Write the names on the board so that you can see who they've picked. The second part of the activity is for each group to think of an alternative history for each celebrity. What would have happened if something different took place in their lives, or if they didn't achieve something? Note that not every alternate history has to end in disaster. They could just have become something else. When all the groups are done, they report back. Give a reward for the most creative or well-explained history. Make sure that each student in a group gets a chance to explain something about their celebrity's alternate history. Interview with verbs. This activity trains students to use different vocabulary in an engaging way. They choose a famous person they would like to interview, and the person doesn't necessarily have to be alive. Advise them to choose someone they admire or know a lot about so that they have more material to talk about. Place the students in pairs. The one is the celebrity and the other one the interviewer. Write 20 verbs on the whiteboard. They must each then use at least 10 of these verbs to create questions for their partner. For example, decide. When did you decide? Hate. What do you hate? Who loves you the most? What can you offer us? What do you prefer between? Why did you move? Who won? Can you continue with? What did you buy for? Can you wait for? Did you consider? How did you change? These are only example questions. Students must create their own. Watch this next video if you want 10 more no prep classroom activities.